Okay, so our last principle or property here of economics is what we call empiricism. So, what exactly do I mean by empiricism? And what we mean by that is that what we do in economics is we develop theories. So, optimization and equilibrium is an idea of a theory, and we'll have such examples, right? So, my theory says that people go to college because it benefits them and they get higher wages when they graduate. Okay, so that's a particular theory that going to college gives me higher wages, and people go because of that. Now, I can test whether or not that theory is actually true, and that's an important part of what we do in economics. That's empiricism. So, empiricism is using data to test our theories. Right? And what makes economics really fun and interesting is that we can have both sides of this, right? We can develop theories and we can use data to test those theories, right? So, I'm not picking on other disciplines. I enjoy all of them, to be honest with you. But that's a little different than, let's say, something like philosophy, right? Where we have lots of theories and ideas about how the world operates, but it tends to be more in the normative realm, right? This is our interpretation of the world or events or different ways to view the world. It's hard to use data to test whether or not a particular philosophy or worldview is correct or not. It's sort of a normative question. Whereas in economics, our theories tend to develop positive predictions. I can tell whether or not going to college increases your wages, or I can at least try. There should be some right or wrong answer to that, and that formulates the basis of empiricism. So, an important concept related to this, and one that we'll discuss, is an idea of correlation. And so, correlation is just the relationship between two variables. And so we tend to signify whether that's a positive or a negative relationship, positive or negative correlation. So two variables, let's say x and y, are positively correlated if they move in the same direction. When x goes up, y goes up. When x goes down, y goes down. And vice versa, right? That would be a positive correlation. They move in the same direction. Negative correlation they move in the opposite direction. When x goes up, y goes down. When x goes down, y goes up. That is a negative correlation. So let me just kind of switch over, and given my experience, this is going to crash on me, yes. Not a good day for me today with the notebook here. So let me just break this down a little bit for you. So if I did a positive correlation, graphically, if I graphed x against y, a positive correlation is going to have a positive slope. It's upward sloping. When x goes up, y is going up with it. A negative correlation is the opposite. When x goes up, y is going down. So those are just kind of a graphical example of what we're doing there. Okay, so how do we use this in economics? Well, it helps me determine what relationships exist and can kind of confirm or not confirm a particular theory. So I've got this, solution to global warming question mark, right? So I'm just giving you an example of how this can be helpful, or in this case, how it could not be helpful, the idea of correlation. So here's what I observe. right? On warm days, lots of people go to the beach. And swim. So clearly, swimming and the temperature are positively correlated. And so I could take this a step further and say, well, that's pretty simple, right? If I want to stop global warming, temperature of the earth rising on average, what I need to do is ban swimming, right? If people swim on warm days and you can't swim anymore, then we won't have any more warm days. So I've got a positive correlation and I can use that to my advantage here, right? Now, you're probably sitting there saying, this guy's crazy. Now, I don't actually believe that if we ban swimming, we'll get rid of warm days. It's drawing the distinction here between correlation and causation. So causation says that X causes Y. And what we've shown in my example here is that correlation does not always imply causation, right? So in this case, I said swimming X causes hot days. When in fact, we know that's not true. They are positively correlated, but they're not true. And in fact, what I presented here is an example of, and I'll come up here, reverse correlation. Or sorry, reverse causation, right? Warm days and swimming are correlated, but the causation actually works the other way, right? The warm day causes the swimming. Not in my example where I said, well, if I ban swimming, I'll get rid of the warm days. That is reverse causation. And so, there's lots of examples of this. Reverse causation or difficulty untangling correlation from causation. And one of the hardest ones to work out, whether it's actual causation or reverse causation, is the one I led off this section with, which is that college graduates earn higher wages. It's a positive correlation between having a four-year degree and your earnings after you've graduated, all else the same. Now, as I believe to be the case, did going to college cause your wages to be higher? I hope so, and I think so, but it's hard to tell, right? It could just be that the most productive people and the smarter people just naturally want to go to college. And so it's really a reverse causation, right? It's that the high-wage productive people are choosing to go to college, and that's what we're seeing, as opposed to the causation of college causing higher wages. It's the high wages causing college, right? So those are some examples of what we mean by empiricism, how we define correlation, and why we have to be really careful not to confuse correlation with causation. And so we'll have in the next chapter, chapter 2, some more examples of this and think a little bit deeper about these, some of these issues and how we might go about untangling, say, college graduation and your future earnings. So that is it for chapter 1. Good luck with the homework assignment. If you run into trouble, please don't hesitate to let me know, reach out on Canvas, find me in my office hours, whatever the case may be. So good luck.